the year 1831, Southampton County, Virginia. Now, this is the site of the greatest slave revolt in the history of this country. In hiding, the Reverend General Nat Turner. Now, he's just led a band of slaves on a fierce killing spree. Ain't gonna be a slave. You understand? Fight for freedom. You understand? Resulting in the deaths of some 60 white slave owners. First unit! Reload! In the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Take aim! Fire! When I was about 17 years old, the word got abroad that I was hard to whip, that I was guilty of kicking back. I sometimes got the devil in me. And for this, my master led me for 1 year to be broken to a man by the name of Edward Colby. Now, this Edward Colby had a very high reputation in the art of breaking young slaves. You see, in his life, he'd been an overseer. And he very well understood the business of slave driving. You see, Colby had the faculty of making us feel that he was ever present. And this he did by a series of adroitly managed surprises. Good Lord, what on earth's name going on in here? Colby would crawl in the cornfields to the spot where we were working, laughing at himself all the way. Good job. Good job catching. Caroline, you hear something in the cornfields over there where you at? Well, I don't know. It makes some type of woo-woo noise or something. Descending directly from the slave fields came a curious mixture. Well, all the way from the motherland came the soulful rituals of the African ancestor, combined with the European sound of music, along with the woes and the sorrows and the pain and the heartache of the slave's inner soul, came that of the blues music. Sunhouse, Willie Brown, Ike Zimmerman, Petey Wheatstroff, Honey Boy Edwards, and Johnny Shines. And immortalizing the gut-wrenching music of the Delta came the king of the Delta blues, Mr. Robert Johnson. I woke up this morning, feel around my shoes. Everybody got these old walking through life. Up this morning, ooh, feel around my shoes. Yeah, I got up this morning, and all I had was on. Y'all, come on, put your hands together on this one now. Lord, I feel like blowing mine all on some horn. Got up this morning, a little birdie. Eve was gone, and I feel like, oh, I run from home. Yeah, we working it. Well, I got up this morning. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Well, we gave that leadership to our foreparents, and it made them slaves. So we've decided to find a leadership of our own, to make our own selves free men. That's Malcolm X. He speaks in Harlem this afternoon. We want an immediate end to the police brutality and mob attacks against the so-called Negroes throughout the United States. That's Malcolm X. He speaks in Harlem this afternoon. His message to blacks of America, black nationalism. This is a black man, a Korean vet, went to war in Korea fighting for America, risked his life fighting for America, and then came back to this country and was shot down by the white man like a dog. Ladies and gentlemen, the treat we've all been waiting for, the cream of the crop, the whipped cream on the apple pie, the gravy on the mashed potatoes, the mojo working man, the hoochie coochie man. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Muddy Waters. Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, yeah, my mama said I'm gonna be the greatest man alive. Now I'm a man, I just made 21. I want you to believe me, honey, we have lots of fun. I'm a man, yeah. For announcement.
Thurgood Marshall, the pioneer lawyer who became America's most prominent civil rights attorney, winning 29 of the 32 civil rights cases he argued before the Supreme Court. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy appointed him to the U.S. Court of Appeals. In 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson named him U.S. Solicitor General. The climax of Marshall's career came 2 years later, when he was nominated for a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. At age 59, the son of a sleeping car porter and great-grandson of a slave, he became the 96th man and the first black to sit among the 9 Supreme Court justices.
Well, we all think about it. Every now and then I think about my own death, my own funeral, but I don't think about it in a morbid sense. If any of you are around when I have to meet my days, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. Every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I've won a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I've won 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like for somebody to say on that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I'd like for somebody to be able to say on that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say on that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say on that day that I didn't try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to be able to say on that day that I didn't try in my life to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say on that day that I didn't try in my life to clothe